Hi everybody, I'm Cassandra from Craft to Believe After and welcome to another video. Now you guys, today I thought I wanted to share with you just a few tricks that I personally do to change the look of my amigurumi. There's so many patterns out there and sometimes we spend such a lot of time looking for that perfect pattern when in fact we have all the tools already in our arsenal to create whatever project we want using any base pattern. Now, a long time ago, I think around about episode 30, I will link the video down below, I did a little experiment to try and find out if the perfect bear pattern exists. So I was out on a mission to see, is there something like the perfect pattern? And the answer actually was no. There isn't something like the perfect pattern. There's brilliant patterns out there, but they might not be the perfect pattern for what you have got in mind. And just to show you quickly, based on that video, you can have a look at the whole explanation. These two bears was my example. This one I thought was my perfect bear. I love the yarn I used for it. I loved the colors. I loved the look. And then as a comparison, I made this one with exactly the same pattern. I just positioned the legs differently. I used a different color yarn. I did a different type of a face. And they look like two completely different items. So when I was starting to look for a project to do after I completed last week, you know, this whole year so far has been a fun, fun-filled, every week has been like fun-filled for me. It is just, I've worked on amazing projects and sometimes it takes me quite a while to find like a project that really grabs my heart. It can take me several days sometimes to look through Pinterest and Etsy and Ravelry and all my thousands, feels like, books and patterns that I've accumulated over the years. But that got me thinking that we can adapt any pattern to make an amigurumi that we have in our head. Because not every pattern will be perfect, but you can make it perfect. In essence, I mean, amigurumi is not rocket science. Amigurumi, 99.9% of the time, consists of single crochet, increases and decreases. That's it. And I mean, we can all do those three things. We can do single crochets, we can do increases, and we can do decreases. So we already have like the basis of 99.9% of amigurumi patterns. The rest is things that we already know how to do. But sometimes I think we're not always brave enough to do it. You know, we buy crochet patterns based on what the designer's vision is. And we try to stick to the colors, we try to stick to the yarns. But I have chucked that idea out of the window many years ago because I like working with a specific type of yarn and a specific hook size. And that is either a fingering weight cotton like Rainbow Cotton 8.4 or a sport weight cotton, Rainbow Cotton 8.6, and I love my 2.5 millimeter hook. Those are the items that I'm most comfortable with. So it doesn't matter what the pattern suggests, I almost always use those cottons, 8.6, 8.4, you know, the sport or fingering weight, and a 2.5 millimeter hook. I do have other yarns, as we all do. We've all got very large stashes of yarn. So I do use other yarns as well. But for the most part, the majority of my projects, I really enjoy using the 100% cottons with the 2.5 millimeter hook. So when I was looking through my book collection, my pattern collection, I saw this book that I bought last year, Crocheted Animal Friends, and I've been wanting to make a pattern out of this for a while, but the patterns are not entirely my style. So they've got a sort of a vintagey, old-timey almost look about them. I'll show you just one or two photos. So for instance, here's a cat and a bird. So you can see they've got that, you know, they're very easy patterns. But they got a more, not that they're vintage patterns at all. It's a fairly new book, I think. But the look of them and the colors that's used is a little, like, I get vintagey vibes from it. So I wanted to try a bear pattern from this book. Those of you who've been with me for a while, you know I'm on this mission to create or to make every bear pattern available in the world. I've been enjoying the process. Yes, I do other things in between, do not worry. But for the most part, I love making bears. There's something very classic about it, and I just love it. So I found the pattern that I wanted to make. And let me just show you which one it is. It was this bear right here. Now, first of all, although I like that color for a bear, I would never use green for the accent colors. Of course you can. I mean, I have made bears in some pretty wild colors before. I like variegated yarn, so I'm not against using color on bears, not at all. But these ones I just knew I was not going to do. So changing colors is like one of the easiest ways to change a project. The other thing I didn't like is this poor bear has got like a pocket stitch right onto his belly. And I can't even look at it. I feel so uncomfortable. I mean, the poor thing, can you imagine having a pocket but it's stitched right onto you? Like this. I don't know, shame. I didn't want to do it. I decided from the start I was not going to put a pocket on him. But anyway, I wanted to do this pattern. It was fairly basic, so I knew it was going to go quickly. You know, sometimes I do like doing quick and easy projects. But in this case, I knew I was going to change a few things. And I will show you guys what I made. And then I will tell you how you can do the same with any pattern that you have. We all have the ability, and we all have that creative, you know, if you're a crafter, any type of craft, you've got this ability to be creative, or this need to be creative. And I think it's very interesting to try and adjust or adapt patterns to suit whatever we have, like, in our minds that we want to create. But anyway, I'm talking a lot. Let me show you what my project looks like in the end. So this is the adorable bear that I made from that pattern. And I will tell you my few tips for creating the perfect amigurumi for you. So, you know, whatever you have in mind, you can use any base pattern. And with a few slight adjustments, you can make it into the perfect pattern for you. Now, the first thing I changed, and let me just tell you, I did the head exactly the same. The muzzle, I did the same. The arms and the legs. Although, let me just I wonder if I can take this little pants off, just so that I can show you really quickly. So my bear's legs, so the leg pattern is exactly the same, but I attached it to the body in a different way. So let me just quickly reference back to the pattern. So you will see that in the pattern, they tell you to sew your legs on underneath the body. So sort of in a standing position like that. I don't prefer legs like that. It makes it sort of difficult if you want your toy to sit down. So I made this change already in attaching the legs onto the side. It already gives your toy a different look. Obviously, as you can see, I went for more traditional colors. Instead of green, I made the muzzle and the little paws and the feet, I don't know what you call both of them paws, but instead of making it green, I just used a more neutral beige for it. Then the biggest difference, or the biggest change that I did, was in the ears. And this is one of the tips that I want to give you already. If there's certain parts of a pattern that you do not like, swap it out with something else. We've got a million patterns at our disposal. It feels like literally a million. Apart from the books that we all own, the patterns that we all own, there's hundreds of free patterns out there. So if there's a specific feature of a toy that you do not like, go to your library and see, on a similar type of animal, is there a different type of ear that you prefer? Now this is my preferred ears for bears. It is, a very simple, like crochet, a little circle, do a few rows, that it creates this half circle that you fold in half and you attach to the head. I like the look of it a bit more. When you attach this part, it's always a lot more clean than when you do those round discs. For some reason, I can never sew those round discs on to look seamless. So I think this is why I prefer this look of ear to those round discs. Now, it might for you be the opposite. You might prefer those round ears. Now you've got a pattern that suggests these. Just swap them out. It's so easy. We've got so many patterns that we can reference, that we can draw inspiration or draw different parts from. So there's definitely, that is one of my one big suggestion I can give for changing the look of a toy, is just tweaking or swapping out certain body parts. Now, I very rarely actually use this type of protruding or larger muzzle for a bear. I like these smaller round ones that you can see here. This is more my type of muzzle, but I cannot always do the exact same thing. So this was an interesting experience for me, an interesting look for the bear, and I do actually like it. Now, for future projects, I can change how a bear looks. Let me just get this fuzz off. I can change how another pattern might end up looking by swapping a flat muzzle with a larger muzzle. So that is one idea, swapping body parts. Now it sounds it sounds a little, Dr. Frankenstein, but why not? Why not use all the different patterns that we've got to create something that we prefer maybe, or that we find easier to do, or that fits the specific look we are going for. So say, for instance, this was a bear that had shorter arms, but you are trying to make a Valentine's bear and you want him to hold a heart. So you need him to have longer arms. You can either change the arms by looking at some of the patterns you've got, or just, doing a few more rounds of a pattern that, what the pattern prescribes. There's so many small changes that we can make to make a pattern look completely different. Now, the other thing that I like doing is normally I like adding scarves. So this would actually come as a surprise to a lot of you who know me, because I love adding scarves to projects. I love it. But in this instance, because I wasn't happy with the bottom part of the bear, so even though I do like how I attach the legs, I decided to find a pattern which had an explanation on how to make pants. Now, many patterns have got clothes that you can make separate for toys, and it doesn't have to be a pattern that would fit this specific size, because you can easily adapt especially something like pants. Now, I've got a pants pattern in like a number of my bear, or not even bear, like a number of toy patterns that explains to you that you make a circle, you make a chain, you do a few rows, you divide for the legs, you attach a little, like a little, what do you call these, bands or whatever, suspenders. I mean, it's so easy to create a different look for your toy by going to a pattern you've got and making him a little outfit. So I decided, okay, this was an exception for me in not adding a scarf. And it's only because I didn't like how the legs turned out. So what I did, let me just put this poor guy back into his little outfit. There we go. So now I like how he looks, like his little body fits. It's a long enough body to fit pants. And like I say, go and have a look at the different patterns that you've got at your disposal. Page through your books every now and again, just so that you know what you have got available, because there's so many things that can be interchanged or used between different patterns. I mean, in my Pick-a-Pow books, the Animal Friends of Pick-a-Pow, one of the bears, you make a little vest, and I've used that vest pattern on other patterns. So there's always something that you can use or adjust to like give your toy a completely different look. So I knew I was not going to put that pocket straight onto my poor bear's body. Instead, I made him a little cute pants outfit. Very, very adorable. So that's the other suggestion. So the one is decide on a yarn and a hook that you enjoy and that you know works well for amigurumi. That's my first tip. Second tip, swap body parts. If you don't like a specific part on, maybe it's like a brilliant pattern that you love, but you don't like the type of legs that they add, or you don't like the fact that they have an open head and an open body that you have to attach. You prefer to do a body and a head in one. Go and look at how other patterns incorporate a head and body as one piece so that you don't have to do the sewing. In this bear pattern, for instance, they had, I think, 2 closed pieces again, which I find difficult to attach. So my head is a closed piece, but I left my neck open so that I could attach my head more easily. So have a look at how you can swap or adjust body parts if there's something specific that you don't like. Muzzles, ears, you know, arms, where legs are positioned, things like that. It's very easy fixes on an amigurumi. The next thing, and this is very important, is faces. Now, as you guys know, I am slightly obsessed with embroidered eyes these days. If you haven't seen my eye tutorial, I will link it down below. It's very quick and easy how you can embroider eyes on your amigurumi, because a face makes a huge difference on a toy. As an example, I will show you these two again. Both of these uses safety eyes. These are the kawaii eyes. These are just normal black eyes, but with a little white embroidery next to it. Safety eyes with a completely different look. Now you compare again safety eyes with embroidered eyes. Very different look once again. So a face does make a difference. So either put a little blush on your toy like this one. Now you can't, oh, you can see it a bit. This one has got a little bit of blush on his cheeks. What you can also do is you can embroider, like I did with this one. You can embroider little cheeks. Just put a little color on the face of your toy. So there's small little tweaks that you can do, whether you're using embroidered eyes, whether you're using safety eyes. There's different types of safety eyes that you can use. different sizes of safety eyes makes a difference as well. So getting the face right is one of the things that I do suggest to put a little bit of experimentation in. There's so many wonderful tutorials and images and ideas in your books, in patterns on YouTube that you can use or keep in the back of your mind when you're making a project to think, oh, okay, I'm going to use safety eyes, but maybe I can give it a little bit of an expression by adding just a little bit of white embroidering, giving it some eyebrows. You know, maybe if you want to do a little girl, some eyelashes. There's really a lot of things you can do to a toy just by adjusting one or two facial features. So that's another huge tip I want to give, and that is spend some time on the face of your toy. The last tip I want to give is be brave. You guys will sometimes so scared to try something different. And I will put my hand up first to say, yes, I'm scared to death of making dolls. You will very rarely see me make a doll on this channel, and it is because I am scared of making dolls. But I think I will put the challenge not only to you guys, but to myself, is try something that you're scared of. As I said in the beginning, I mean, amigurumi is single crochets, increases and decreases. That's it. At most, I mean, if you put a dress on a doll, it's going to have maybe double crochets or half doubles or something else. But to make a toy, you need single crochet, increase, decrease. That's it. And we can all do that. So I think I'm going to keep on using the resources that I've got, because I do have a ton of books, many which I haven't yet even showed you guys. And I'm going to start mix and match. It's like that book that's doing the rounds. Now, I don't make blankets, but you saw that book that my friend Caroline over at For the Love of Crochet, she's been loving using this mix and match blanket book, and I think we should do the same with amigurumi. Let's do mix and match amigurumi. Use different parts from different patterns to adjust like a basic pattern. And I think one day, sometime this year, I'm not sure when, I'm going to put a little challenge out there for us to do, that we all do, use the same base pattern and see how each of us can adjust that pattern. So I'm thinking about doing something like that, hopefully sometime soon. And I'm sure, I mean, you guys are fantastic. You always are big supporters and cheerleaders of any craze that's going on this channel. But I think we all need to be brave. So I'm going to keep a lookout at a base for a base pattern. Maybe I will consider doing a doll. I'm not sure, you guys. You see, there I'm talking myself out of it already. But I don't know. I like the idea of mixing and matching and using the skills that we've got. We all have the ability to change a very cute pattern, which it is. It is an adorable pattern. Adapting it into something that we personally love. I love this bear. I love the look of it. It's still got a sort of old-timey feel, but with a little craftably ever after twist. I do love it. So you guys, that's it. That's the challenge. We're going to do it. Mix and match amigurumi. So those are my tips. All right, friends, that is it for this week. Can you believe it? A very, very long video showing basically one project, but giving you my tips on how I create amigurumis that I love. And you can do it as well. All right, friends. I've enjoyed talking to you so much. Every week, I look forward to chatting to all of you. Let me know what you've been up to. I think this is my last video before heading to South Africa on Wednesday, the 7th of February. So probably next week there won't be a video, but I'm going to try and do a little maybe vlog style clips and see if I can add it into video for you guys, just to show you what my actual life back in South Africa looked like. Where I'm from, you know, it feels like I've been in Denmark for so long, but I've got my life actually is in South Africa. This is where everything that I have done up to now comes from. It comes from living in South Africa. So I will try and share a bit of that with you guys. But that's it. I'm now just chatting and chatting more and more. I can never seem to end my videos in a timely fashion, but I know you guys enjoy hanging out with me as much as I enjoy hanging out with you. All right, friends, that's it for this week. Be brave. We can do it. All right, you guys. Until I see you in the next video, as always, stay safe and stay crafty.